It's my great honor to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Schoolism.com. The co-founder of Schoolism.com, Bobby Chiu, has been at the forefront of our industry. He's the co-founder of the famous Lightbox Expo, winner of 2 Daytime Emmys for Nico and the Sword of Light, and, not surprisingly, the co-founder of the very app we'll be having fun with today, MAGMA Studios. Schoolism.com was founded back in 2006 and quickly became one of the greatest online learning resources for artists of every medium, from digital painting to sculpting to oil to gouache, charcoal, ZBrush, watercolor, and so on. It houses the professional teaching skills of some of the world's most celebrated artists. In fact, to date, Schoolism houses 28 industry-leading artists, teaching over 35 unique courses. Something else I've given very high praise on my channel about in the past are the Schoolism workshops that are generally held worldwide. Of course, for the time being, because of the current pandemic, these workshops have thankfully been moved online. With that said, when Bobby Chiu first introduced me to MAGMA Studios, my eyes legitimately lit up. Coming from a teacher's perspective who teaches students worldwide, I can't stress enough how revolutionary I feel this app is. So I spent over an hour with the developer of MAGMA Studios, Wojtek Jodel from Poland, and the more he walked me through this amazing app, the more excited I got. So consider today's video my way of using my own voice and my own platform to promote an artistic tool and a teaching tool that I feel could literally revolutionize online artistic collaboration and online learning. But that's enough talk, because today I have the great pleasure of sharing a canvas with my very own incredibly talented daughter, Emily Duff, one of the most fun partners you could possibly share a creative idea with. Expect a lot of goofing off and a lot of laughter. That's kind of a prerequisite of hanging out with Emily, especially when we're in our element, creating art together. So here I am with Emily. Say hi.
Hi.
Emily's actually in her second year. She's in her second to last year of illustration, and you're looking to pursue animation after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, hopefully something in that field.
Do you want to do 2D or 3D? What are you more interested in for that?
Definitely 2D.
Yeah, that's right.
About that 2D life.
Yeah, absolutely. So Emily's already a very skilled artist and everything like that. She's actually in the other room, but we're kind of simulating what it would be like if she was in Germany and I was in New Zealand. Type of idea. We're kind of pretending to be remote here. Also, she's working on an Intuos. I'm working on a Cintiq. We're both on. She's on her laptop. I'm on my desktop. But one of the things I mentioned right off the bat that I thought was really exciting about this app is it's completely multi-platform. It's cross-platform, so you could have up to 30 people right now. You can have up to 30 people working on a canvas. You can have some people on iPads, some people on Chromebooks, some people on PCs, Macs, the whole thing. And you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know from one person to the next. Everybody's basically all collaborating on the same app together. So while Emily's doing her thing, I can be over here and I'll grab a brush and I can do my own thing over here. And I can just be very distracting to her work.
Nice. Thank you so much. Wow.
So I'm just going to troll her, basically, because she's the one with the drawing skill. And I'm going to mention things that Wojtek had mentioned to me. Oh, yeah. Wojtek is one of the developers, if I didn't mention it before. And he's working in collaboration with Bobby Chiu. It was actually Bobby Chiu who first introduced me to this app, and he gave me a tour of it. And when he did, I swear to God, my eyes lit up when we both worked on the same drawing together. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, because we're both teachers. We're both art teachers, so the fact that you can actually not only explain something, but you can physically show them. It's like a dance partner. Instead of just giving somebody virtual dance instructions and telling them to do something, you can take their hand and give them the feeling, teach them the feeling and the speed of what it's like to actually draw. I can't gush enough about this app. I'm so excited about it. So this is what we're going to do, Em. We're going to walk through it, and I want you to be completely honest with your experience. This is one of Emily's first times even touching the app, so she's just getting herself familiar with it. So what I want to do is give you kind of a first impressions. how I customized it. How easy was it for me to figure out certain features, customize my brushes, my keyboard shortcuts, learning the layout and the menus? Because to me, first impressions matter a lot. There's a lot of apps that are good, but they're so complicated and so convoluted that you just end up going, screw this, it's not worth it. I'll just stick to an app I'm familiar with. So that's an important aspect of getting comfortable with an app. I find that's very important. All the iPad apps I've reviewed and the desktop apps, that's one of the #1 criteria I very often notice. There has to be that element of familiarity. And I find that MAGMA Studio really does a nice job with that. Okay, so Emily, be honest.
Yes.
If there's things you like, don't like, or if there's things that work or things that you're struggling with, things that don't make sense, let me know, because all of this is going to create a feedback loop for everybody listening and for the developers and everything like that. So, Emily, you had the idea where you wanted to do art prompts, right? But you want me to come up with an idea.
Yeah, head empty. It's your responsibility.
No, I'm the dad. Okay, so I'll make you draw something that you might not care about, because you do cute, happy, funny stuff, and I'm going to make you draw something dark. A sophisticated frog.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like that you said it was going to be dark, and then you pulled that one out.
Yeah, I know, because I'm trying to be nice.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so here, I'll grab my brush too. Now, I've only had a chance to play around with brushes. #1, your Photoshop shortcuts. Okay, so the Photoshop shortcuts that you're using are completely customizable. So I'm going to go in, and for me, for instance, I switched my flip canvas horizontal. The default is H, but if you go into Edit, Application Settings, and you go into Shortcuts, you have all these different submenus. And here, View, for instance, flip horizontal, I set it to F1, because that's what I usually use for my keyboard shortcut, F1. So I'm just going to save that. Now, if I hit F1, you can see that my screen is flipping. Emily, do you see the screen flipping?
No, I don't.
See? So whatever you do is exclusive to your own app. So you're not disturbing everybody else by flipping things around. So I'm going to do something in my own way. And I said frog, but how the hell do you draw a frog? I have no idea what to draw a frog. So, yes, very cool. Now, what's really cool is that we have two completely different ways of going about producing a drawing. This is his teacup and his pinky.
I can already tell this is not going to be good.
No, eh? You're being watched, by the way, Emily, so you have...
Oh,
yeah.
It's so much pressure.
If you screw up, a lot of people are going to see you screw up, so no pressure whatsoever.
Say this fool.
Nah. There you go.
Sophisticated. What the heck is sophisticated? Oh.
Now, mine doesn't even look like a frog.
Mine doesn't look like... Ooh.
I have a question. Are you running into any kind of snags or things that are a bit... Just in terms of the interface, is there anything that's kind of bugging you, or...
I mean, right off the bat, I do like the, initial brush that they give, which is surprising, because usually the first brush that you get is, the worst, but it's really not. And, but my only thing is that, and I'm not sure if it's because I can't open my tab fully, but the window for the layers is so small and I can't make it bigger.
Yeah.
I can't make it any bigger.
That little, I think Emily was showing me before. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. See how I can pull this bar up on mine, and that little bar you were talking about before that you couldn't pull, I can pull that and completely overlap my brushes with it.
Do you think that is something to do with the fact that I'm working on the not pro version?
I don't think so. I don't think that's one of the features. The interface should be the same on both. But for you, see, I have my brush settings. So you can still see your brush settings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't. I can, but I have extra screen real estate, so I can pull I can expose my brushes and still have plenty of layers below it. So that might have something to do with it. So the resolution of your screen might be playing into that,
Maybe.
that thing, right?
Yeah, I think I'm on like Internet Explorer or something, so that might be why.
Yeah. Oh, Explorer? Did you just say Windows?
Yeah,
Good
yeah, or
Lord.
like Bing. Maybe it's Bing. I don't know. This is what Skype opened up, so I'm just working with it.
Nice. Okay, stop. Stop drawing.
Mm.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a brush. I wanna deface your drawing. No.
Can I give him toes?
Bruh.
It's little toes. Gosh.
Number 2. I'm just trying to find a good brush.
Without a toe.
You can see up here I have 3 brush settings up here at the top. If you look just below your color wheel, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are all you can select that brush and then start to draw. And it'll save it as that brush preset. So right now you can see you probably have 6 brushes, or maybe
it's all
not.
the same.
They're all the same.
Yeah, no, I
you have
have
to
6.
change the settings. So you have to change the settings there. So when you change the settings, it's gonna automatically save it to whichever one you have selected, right? So I'm just gonna go back to my original. I should probably, let's go to my brush settings here. So, so size. I have my size jitter turned off. So let me see. Oh no, I'll set it back on. And minimum size. I'm gonna reduce that. So now it's gonna give me a little bit of brush. My density, I'm gonna increase. That's kind of like your flow. I'm gonna go with pure black. Actually, let's bring the density all the way up. And my opacity, stabilizer. I don't really use stabilizers most of the time. Weight, levels. The only thing here that I found, depending on which brush you're using, when I was using the default round, I found that the spacing, was too spacey. There was too much space between them. I didn't know how to adjust that. Okay.
I don't know. I've only been on. This is guy. He's gonna be a farmer instead. Sorry, he's not. He's like the opposite of sophisticated. It just feels right.
A sophisticated farmer.
You're right. He could be.
There you go.
Love that. Old man.
Nah. There. Okay. We'll commit to the whole old idea. So I'm going to give him a bit of a mustache.
You.
He's completely no longer a frog, mind you. So let's give him a froggy mustache. So you see, when I erase, it's only erasing what I drew.
Yeah. I think that the little bar that says your name is a little bit distracting. Like, obviously, it's fine, but when we're working so close together,
yeah,
it's definitely like your name is blocking where I was trying to draw.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, he wouldn't have an ear, because he is a frog after all.
No, he's got these little fangs.
So you see here, if you wanted to make him more froggy, I would remove this curve down here, and I just make it a straight line because a frog shouldn't have a neck.
Great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There, that makes such a difference.
There you go. Now he's a froge.
Look at him, our little guy. I'm just gonna make some.
Now while Emily's doing that, check it out. If you want to go into your keyboard shortcuts, go Edit, Application Settings, Shortcuts, and here you have a bunch of selections. I've set these, whenever I use a keyboard shortcut, I always automatically set it to whatever I'm used to in Photoshop, because Photoshop is my standard as far as that goes, for most people, right? So anything that isn't quite exactly like Photoshop, I just switch it to be a Photoshop shortcut, and it's no problem. It's very intuitive. I actually, to be honest with you, prefer this tab layout more than the way Photoshop does it. It's a little bit more intuitive, and like enable pixel grid is always something you have to go looking for. You have it right here on the first thing. Disable graphics acceleration, disable touch, etc. Other, reset all settings, so you go back to your defaults. Really straightforward. Oh yeah, here, if I go into Edit, Application Settings 2, here's something that's important if you have a multilingual keyboard. I used to, but I kept constantly flipping back between a French and English keyboard, and that changes all your keyboard your shortcuts. So you can go in here and choose whichever standard you want, and there's a lot of different ones here. There you go. So you can choose whichever keyboard standard you want, so just in case you use different keyboard shortcuts. Ooh, I like where this is going. Nice. Now I made him depressed.
That's fine. He's a little sad.
I'll make him a little bit more neutral.
I love knowing what even is this thing called?
Pitchfork.
Rake? Pitchfork. No idea what that's supposed to look
pitchfork.
like.
It looks like that. Or the ones I've seen kind of like this, and they have like ones like it's just 2 or 3. I think the pitchfork is traditionally 3.
I just drew a regular fork. Oh my god, he's a frog, so his pitchfork is just a regular fork. I love that. Because it's like big for him.
Okay, so let's pitchfork.
He digs with a spoon.
Do you know how fun this is working together? I love this.
Yeah, I mean...
Pitchfork is 4 or 3. I'm seeing 4 or 3. And then there's the... Yeah.
I like the idea of it just being a regular fork.
A regular You see? I would never have thought that up myself. You starting a new one?
Yeah, he's going to be digging with a spoon.
Okay, now that you've done that, I'm going to create a new layer. So I'm going to go here to create a new layer. It's up at the top. Boop.
Boop. It's okay. I fixed it.
So to multiply, and I'm going to start to shade this guy in. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to turn off minimum size. So I want to go with a regular paintbrush. And I'll go with maybe a medium gray. I'll just paint it in value. I'm going to start to block in some values here. There you go. Now here's something I'm thinking actually. Since we both worked on this sketch at the same time, then the blending option of that line layer, technically I would always set my blending option to my line layer to multiply, and then I paint my values underneath. So the blocking layer would go underneath my line layer, right? Yeah. But in this particular case,
I mean,
since
you
we're both
can
working
move
on
the layers. You can move your I don't think you can move my layers, though.
I can't. No, only you can do that. So if you want to set your layer to the top, you would have to do that yourself. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. So in this case, I'm just going to go like this. This frog needs somebody to talk to. It looks like he's having a bit of a rough day.
He's got little froglings down here listening to his little story.
Little froglets.
Yeah, his little guys. God, I love not knowing what a frog looks like. Oh, why do you look like that?
Maybe you could do dark art after. That's a bit nightmarish.
Don't like what I created. Oh, sorry, I hit the mic.
It's all good. It's all good. There we go. Okay.
Also here, I'm trying to make him dig with a spoon, but it looks more like he's trying to hit someone with a bat.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think your dark self wants to come out. Okay, so now I actually moved. I moved on mine. I moved the blocking layer. This one. I moved it behind your line layer.
Okay.
So you have, well, we both kind of worked on that line layer, so I'm just going to keep it as is. And I'm going to create a new layer to create a bit of a value backdrop. I'm going to go a little bit darker, and I'm going to block in a little bit of value back here. Actually, no, I'm going to do this instead. I want to get a little bit of lighting on this character. And let me see if I can change the value of this character. Can I do Control U? Nope, that's not it. I'm on a browser, so Control U opened up the HTML window. So edit, application settings, shortcuts, view, selection, layers, tools, delete, opacity, move layer, blah, 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 blah. Other, set opacity, no. Copy merged, layers, no. Tools, eyedropper, pixel, brush, eraser, paint bucket, no. Rectangle, so I'm looking for something to control, to adjust value and saturation. So a color adjustment layer. Okay, so I don't see a keyboard shortcut for instance, changing the like a color adjustment, like a Control U you'd use in Photoshop. So instead, what I'll do is I will do it manually in this case. So I'm going to put this paint bucket that. There you go. So now I'll even go darker than that. So I blocked in that layer, that, and then I Control E to merge down. It worked fine. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. Create a new layer, clip mask it, And I want this background layer to be a bit darker too. There we go. See, I'm figuring out a lot of these things on the fly, which is exactly what I want to demonstrate for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go with a soft airbrush. And I'm going to start blocking in some lighting on our character. Make sure to turn the minimum size off. I like to work with no opacity jitter on. There we go. And I'm going to block in some light on our character. Go and just have some fun designing your character over here.
He's so shaded. So rendered this frog. I'm just over here demonstrating the fact that I clearly don't know how to make hands look like they're wrapped around a bat. So that's really cool.
Well, let me show you. Since we're using MAGMA Studio, let me demonstrate it for you live.
Teach me.
No, you don't sound robotic at it. Boop. Okay. So remember the shape of your object. You have the thing here, like that. Your hands should take the shape of the object since it's soft, right? Your hands might bend like this. So your hands are going to wrap around the object and take the shape of it. So you're paying attention to that line right over here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where his thumb goes. Literally.
You put the bat a little bit too far in. So you'd want the hand should be here.
Like here? Oh.
See, the hand is going to wrap around like this.
Thumb. Got it.
There are some details.
There's something that this chicken reminds me of. I can't put my finger on it.
You ever see Dirty Birdie?
No.
Dirty Birdie is an animation of it's a bird that moons this cat on a branch. You never saw it?
Oh, actually, yes, I have seen that.
Yeah.
Yes. Looks like he's like, hey.
Dirty Birdie.
Hey.
See, he's got the funny eye. Oh yeah, let me mention a few things while we're goofing off here. ABRs, bringing in Adobe brushes, and I know Wojtek had told me that they are working on that. So that's definitely something they're looking at. To me, my Adobe brushes are like my babies. Oh yeah, and he's also working on right now on importing other people's brush settings. So if I make a brush and I really like it, and you want to play around with it or vice versa, because I always love the brushes you use for class and stuff. You have these really great brushes. You'd be able to upload that. So I'd be able to just grab your settings and go with it. So that'd be pretty cool. So when we're goofing off with the painting, we're doing it together, essentially. Isn't that cool? That's cool. So I'm gonna give this guy some dimension.
So I'm gonna give this guy some dementia. I was like, no, he's already so sad.
Oh, poor
please.
Bastard. Poor little bastard. There you go. So I'm gonna give him some wrinkles. There you go. He's got his mustache because he's distinguished. He is a classy frog after all.
Is that right? Is that how that goes?
Okay, so
he held it like that.
This ellipse over here. Let me actually draw it in white so you can see it.
Did I get it though? Is his finger go like that?
Yeah, that actually looks not bad here. So you wanna here's the shape of here's the actual shape of it, and his thumb is gonna go like this. And if I'm grabbing it, I can see that if I'm really grabbing, then the thumb is on the inside.
Probably.
The thumb is here.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like that.
Oh.
And
yeah.
very often, like to give your hand a little bit of character, instead of just going with a kind of a generic fist shape like this, you can have one finger kind of pull out and the other ones go a little bit tighter.
I love that.
You can thank Ethan Becker for that kind of his when in doughty, one finger outie.
That's really great.
Yeah. So that's a little shout out to Ethan Becker for that tip. So I have one little finger that sticks out, and the other thing too is you can bring them in a little bit because the fingers converge in towards the middle like that. So to show a little bit more tension, you can have everything kind of flexing into the center like that towards this tight area over here. Do you know how cool it was showing you how to draw that hand? Just like, it was cool because that's a great hand, and it is quite
usually when I draw hands, like I am satisfied with it, but it'll take me like 2 hours. A lot of trial and error, but I really like that trick with the finger.
Yeah, it's when in doughty, one finger outie.
Yeah. That one and that trick I learned a while ago from I think it was is it Cynics or something, where he like, is it Cynics? Maybe I sound stupid, but
Sounds like
where
something.
he does like a trick where he's like, when you draw hands, put the middle two fingers together.
Yeah.
And I started doing that, and it made like the world of difference.
Yep. That's actually that's also a dance thing. In dance, they say put your two fingers together, and the two middle fingers together to give it a little bit more elegance. So that's actually that's a tip taken from dance as well. One thing that what I would have liked is to kind of play around with the hardness of my brush itself. Because I like to work with a slightly harder brush. Working with slightly too sensitive brushes, I find sometimes it's a bit harder to render like that. But I can't seem to find a setting. Maybe it's something I have to go back into my Wacom settings to set it, but I'm not sure. Okay, you want to try out one idea that's not totally up your alley?
Definitely. Listen, you single-handedly saved this frog because he was not looking super fresh, but yes, I will try something else.
My greatest piece ever. Oh wait, let me try something actually before I'm just really painting more experimentally here. I'm just gonna see if I can kind of add some kind of a multiply layer over him to add some shade here. Boop. There you go. Okay, now I've switched over to eraser, and in switching over to eraser, it set me back to a default setting. So E for eraser, B for brush. So maybe I have to set the settings. Let me see if I go size, boop, boop. I'm gonna play around with some settings. Brush, eraser. Ah, nice. Check it out. So I don't know if you probably can't see this, but in mine, I'm in the first brush setting.
Okay.
Just underneath the color wheel. And when I hit E for eraser, it changed my brush settings to kind of a default. And I went, oh, okay. Does that mean I have to create a preset for the erasers? No, it automatically creates a preset. So whether you're in eraser or brush mode, it switches to two different settings. So that's effectively double. You get two settings, two separate settings on the same brush preset, whether you're working on eraser or brush. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here I hit eraser and I can change these settings for my eraser. There we go. Stabilizer, blah, 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 blah. Weight level, like that. Now, there you go. So now I've created a separate setting for my eraser. So when I'm switching back and forth between eraser and brush, it's changing the settings automatically. I think that's dope.
Nice.
There you go. Okay. I think to me, can I tell you what really excites me about this? When Bobby originally showed this to me, we were drawing something together, and he just kind of drew over what I was drawing, and he made comments to the speed of my line. He made comments to how the thoughtfulness behind my brushstroke, because he was watching me do it live.
Yeah.
And it immediately brought physicality into teaching, into interacting with somebody else. It felt like being in a dance lesson. Okay, now we're going to do one more quick thing here. I won't keep it too long, but okay. You're going to make any suggestion I throw at you, you always make it cute. You kind of can't help it. But okay, a king, an undead kind of corpse-like king sitting on a stone throne wearing a flaming crown.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Oh, can I start? No. Wait. I'm gonna start. I'll start with the line. I'll just start doing some line stuff, and then you piggyback off of what I'm drawing. So I'm gonna
can we hide the other layers before we start?
Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. I'm wondering if I could even see your layers.
You can, but you don't have access to them. Or at least I know that I can see yours. I just don't have access to them. It's the layers palette that's really like bugging me because
you're having a hard time accessing it on yours.
It's like the scroller is so tiny.
Yeah, I'm gonna demonstrate it for everybody. What Emily's seeing on her screen is this. It's as if she can't access more than that at the bottom. She can't pull this up because you can see I can't pull it above the brush settings. So there should be a way to kind of like overlap the brush settings so that whoever's working on a small, because she's working on a laptop, so she can get more access to more layers, because otherwise she can only really access 2. Is that supposed to be a flaming undead king?
No, I'm just drawing an old man bunny while I'm waiting.
I was gonna say he's old. He's got a bad back.
Imagine.
Okay, so I'm gonna start a drawing over here because I'm not gonna let you get away with cute stuff. I'm gonna go a little bit more dark.
I also can't go very far back with the history there, like the undo. I can't undo very far back. I think I've got, I don't know how many, I don't have that many. Whoop.
He's got a long robe. I'm doing all of this with a single line drawing, just for fun. I like drawing like that. There.
So what do you want me to help?
Okay. So he's got one hand here, and there you go. So there he's on his throne. Here's his crown. He's got a long robe, blah, blah, blah. And he's got his hands gripping onto the side of the chair like that. And I don't know what this is. It could be candles. It could be jaggedy rock. He's tall and I want him to have long hair. So give him long hair. So okay, there you go.
Can you make it a little, opacity, lower the opacity just a wee bit?
Opacity?
It's like right at the top of the layers.
How's that?
Palette.
Like how far?
There.
I'm at 25%, more or less.
I can't tell the difference.
Oh, let me let go.
There we go, yeah.
Okay, because I still have my... Okay, so you can't see my input until I let go of the pen, because I was still adjusting it, so you didn't see it until I was done. Okay.
Okay. Gonna take a turn for the not scary, just a little warning.
Oh god, here we go.
Also, I can't make this brush any smaller. I wonder if I do pencil.
What's the brush size? Can you see?
No. I'm trying to make this just a little bit smaller. I think, yeah, there we go. It's just my computer acting up.
It uses, on my computer, I use the default bracket key keyboard shortcuts, like the Photoshop ones.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. It was just acting up.
Okay. Yeah, like some of these issues might be the software itself. Some of them might be the hardware. So it could... Oh, I like what you're doing with the eyes. I like the fact that you have them looking down. I had him kind of looking forward, but I like the fact that you're having him looking down. No, keep going.
I didn't even add the pupils in yet.
Yeah.
There we go.
I like that. You know what he looks... He's got a villager nose from Minecraft.
Right.
Yeah, Emily knows I've been basically obsessed with Minecraft. I just discovered it a couple of months ago, and that's basically all
I walked in like 2 days ago in the house, and he's like, I swear I haven't been doing this all morning. I was like, okay, I'm not judging you.
And she walks in,
Fine.
and I was in my workshop, just getting like organizing my chests and stuff. She's like, Dad, there's like 19 cats looking at you right now. I was like, I like cats.
And they're all meowing.
Yeah.
At once.
Like a haunted choir of cats, yeah. Nice. Oh, I like what you're doing with this. You've got the head pointing in a totally different direction, and I thought, huh, you're pulling this off, Em. It's got a cartoony look to it, but it's not off style. I like what you're doing with this.
Thank you.
Oh,
it's like I draw a man like once a year.
Usually drawing.
Not even. Yeah. I really hate drawing men. I don't know why. I just don't. It's because I don't do it, I think.
It's funny because I never drew men either. I always drew female characters. Huh. Interesting.
But yeah, I think that I just understand like there's a flow to drawing a girl that you just can't put in a drawing of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as fun.
There. He's got to have his bling. So just add him some anatomy here, his collarbone. So now both of us are drawing simultaneously on this. Emily's working here, and I'm working down here. This is freaking fun. It's cool because our brains have patterns to it, right? This is like, I'm thinking of this psychologically, just from an artistic perspective. Our brain follows certain patterns, and I think of the development and the growth of art. I'm going to get philosophical here for a second, but I think of the development of art as kind of like trying to grind yourself through stone, right? And every single drawing you do, you're kind of pushing, and you're kind of making that groove longer and longer and longer as you slowly develop and expand into this style. So you tend to create this deep groove. It's like cutting a way through the jungle. So you're creating a beaten path for your next piece. And then the next piece, you beat it a little further and a little further. And so you tend to follow a bit of a linear path. And what we're doing here is our paths are splitting. And then I grab that fork in the road and I go in a direction. You grab that fork in the road and you go in another. So it's like this really kind of like the shoulder pads. Didn't even think about that for 2 seconds. Like, I love that. Oh, he's in shape too. Look at our
I give him a little tip.
He's got some pecs. Look at our boy over here.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, dang, his shirt is so low.
Good.
Ew. Why did you do this to him? Please remove it.
No, he needs to show off his man fuzz.
Yucky.
Now he looks like Axl Rose. There you go.
Oh my god. He looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Nice. Oh my god, yeah, he does, doesn't he? Okay, now he's gonna have these long fingers.
Ooh. Love that.
Some rings. He's gripping onto the side of the banister over here. We can stick to strictly line for this, just so that we're not, because otherwise it would take a long time out here. I had some like skull. So I'm going a little cartoony, but I'm going kind of like in my own kind of cartoony style. And you're going in your cartoony style. And, okay.
It doesn't look like there's a single thought in that head.
You know when you were talking about like the hand, wrapping the hand around a three-dimensional form like that, right? Same thing applies to the I want to suggest the shape of his throne. So I'm going to create a nice right angle because that thing is going to take the shape of the throne as well. So it's always a soft object wrapping around a hard object. And the soft object is going to, this soft material is going to take the shape of the harder object. Now we need candles. If we're going to go soulsy in this, then we need lots of candles dripping down everywhere.
It's so funny because the second you said candles, my idea of a candle was like...
M? Everything you do is always adorable. Here. Yeah, okay, I'll do a candle. I'll do my own soulsy candle.
I was like, alright, candle time.
Candle time.
Absolutely missing the vibe completely. Yeah, that looks like a rigatoni with some spaghetti.
Hey. Look at that, man. Hey.
I love this little guy. I mean, this big guy. Actually, he's a big guy.
Oh, maybe not. No, actually, he's not, because...
He's super small.
He's super small. I'm going to draw a mouse right next to him.
He's the ruler of the mice. He's the rat king.
The mouse is pissy too.
I want to give him a little bit of cheese. He's the mouse king, this guy.
I love it. Here. Meh. This mouse really needs to talk to somebody. He's got real personality.
He looks like he's extremely sad.
There you go.
Here, you know what'll make him feel a little better? I'm gonna give him a little toupee.
Oh my god.
Just a little bit of hair.
You know what? Yeah, and he's got like that typical...
Anime boy. He's got a little...
Oh my god, I'm suffocating right now. This is hilarious.
Get a little wig.
Well, he's anime, then he needs lots of eye reflections. Yeah, now he's oh, check it out. Check it out. Now he's in a better mood. Now he just looks like he's...
I don't know what's going on with this guy anymore. I'm confused.
He's fighting the tears.
Oh my god. Please, like, put him in therapy. Somebody talk to him.
This poor little bastard.
Oh.
Oh, poor little guy. He's trying. Come on, A for effort.
Look. Even his whiskers. Oh.
He's crying.
So sad.
Oh my god. He's a fighter. He's fighting through the tears here.
He's fighting all of the demons. Oh.
He's a fighter. You're doing it. Great job, boy. Ah, you go. There you there.
Gotta prevent that. Can't have our sad rat being saggy in the butt. God forbid.
Okay, so Em, after goofing off with this, we've been playing around with it now for an hour. How do you feel about what feedback do you have on this? And what's your overall impression?
I really like it. I mean, I did not try that many brushes. I just stuck. Like, I think that the initial brush is honestly really nice.
Yeah.
And like the fact that you can import more, so I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it. My only thing is just the layers palette, and I feel like that's probably just because I'm on a weird browser.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it. But apart from that, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, the only issue for me, I found there was two things. For the hard round, which to me, I do a lot of work in hard round. I judge an app by the hard round brush. Like, I'll give you an example. I've been very vocal about this in the past, but like, for instance, Procreate for the iPad, I can't stand the brush engine for Procreate. I don't like the way it feels. I'm very accustomed to Photoshop, Clip, Sketchbook Pro. There's a feel to them, right? And the brush engine in Procreate makes everything feel like it's a glaze brush, where I'm not getting this here. This feels really good out of the gate. It feels perfect. As far as a hard round is concerned, it feels perfect. The other thing is spacing. I couldn't find a way. Let me see if I can pull this down. No, there's no spacing things here. And that was strictly for the hard round. I couldn't, the spacing was too wide. I could really see the separate dots there. So that's my main thing. Apart from that, I think that everything worked great. Oh yeah, the other thing would be to maybe find a way to make it so that if we're, for instance, working on a line layer and we want that line layer to be set to multiply, that make a way of merging your layer and my layer together and making that together the line layer.
Oh yeah, definitely. If there was a way to merge our layers. And another thing is that the fact that like you have no control of the placement of the other person's layers. I guess you could just ask them to move it maybe, but even then they can't move their stuff on top of your layer. It's like when somebody's doing maybe the coloring in and somebody else is doing the outline, it can be really hard to like find where your layer is and which one's on top, and you can't go on top of, I don't know.
Color coding them maybe. Or having maybe we could.
There is a color code.
Oh, there is.
But it's like, it's not super noticeable, I find.
Oh, okay. Well, that's important. I didn't even notice. As soon as you mentioned that, I looked over and I saw the pink and the purple. Okay. Yeah, maybe, you know what? Maybe if we had like a little name, your name up here. Does it say?
Or maybe, let's say if like the entire, like instead of the layer itself looking gray, it's just like a faint, like you see how mine are blue and yours are pink?
Yeah.
If the entire section of the layer was a light blue and your entire section of the layer was a pink, it would be way easier, because that little tiny bar on the side, I find myself just looking at which layers I can unhide instead of the actual bar itself. And
we're only 2 people. Imagine you have 25, 30 people working on that. That could get very confusing.
Definitely.
Right?
That would get super confusing.
Yeah. Also, color adjustments. So like doing, like, for instance, color adjustment or levels adjustments, things like that. Adjustment layers would definitely be cool. But those are more idealistic things. I think as just a straight ahead jump into something and create art, I think it really functions really well. So Emily, a huge thank you.
Yes.
You were awesome. I had so much fun doing this. It was a lot of fun. So
I had a lot of fun too.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video. Another huge thank you to schoolism.com for sponsoring this video. You can find all of the information in the description below.